How can framing help your photography? Hello, welcome to In Studio. I'm Ian M. Butterfield. In one of my recent Sunday night live streams, I went through various techniques for improving your photographic composition. That included the rule of thirds, the link for that's up there, and also framing, which is all about using elements within the frame to draw attention to your subject. Let's join the live stream as I explain how that can improve your photography. No, not talking about picture frames like that. I'm talking about looking through things, using another element in the image to surround or partially surround your subject. So for example, here with this image of Marple Top Lock, we've got the canal bridge that it's framed by and its reflection, of course. Another very obvious example here, this is the image that was in the one of those videos I posted the last couple of days about using these blocks, and I framed the doctor. She's in front of the arch, and the TARDIS is in front of the arch, but she's still technically framed by it. So again, an obvious way of doing it. Slightly less obvious is this example. This is still an example of framing, but it's not framing all the way around. It's just framing on the left-hand side. And this is one of the concepts I want to talk about a bit more with framing, is how we're using it in a more subtle way, where we're just using one side or two sides to actually frame our subject. Here with the treasury in Petra, framed by the rocks on the left hand side, and again just down the road from there in Wadi Rum, the framing here is even more subtle. The framing is the person making the photo. It's the person on the left hand side of the image. And here again it's a framing technique, and this is one where if you think about this shot without the framing element, you come to the conclusion the shot doesn't work. This only works, it's clearly a shot of the plane, but the framing element is what makes it work. This border at the bottom of the fence and the little bit of foreground, that's the element that makes it work. That's how we know what we're looking at. That's the element. Yeah, it's really what's making it work. And here, this theatre one, it's a framing element that's going on with this shot. What is it? Well, we've framed at the top with the theatre lights, and at the bottom with the dark edge of the stage on there, and that sandwiches our soldiers between there. So that's the framing that's going on with it. Here again, a slightly more obvious one, and this is one you can easily find when you're looking for framing elements, is looking for trees. And all I did with this is I looked around and thought, right, there's a tree there, there's branches I can get in, and I pushed myself in to be able to get them into the frame to make the shot more interesting. I wanted to say autumn in here, which means I needed the golden leaves in there. And what better way than having them as my framing element? And sometimes something like this, we've actually got two lots of framing going on with this shot. We've got a framing in terms of the two people in the foreground are acting as framing elements, but we've got the light and the dark, and actually the light of the candle is being framed by the darkness that surrounds it. So you've got double framing going on with that, two framing elements. And this is one, going back to some of the things which we said earlier, about breaking one rule make another rule. This is one where I broke the rule of thirds. I've put my subject bang in the middle, but in doing that, I broke the rule of thirds, but I've used other techniques. I've used a framing technique because I broke it on there. And there's also this balance in here as well. Notice that you've got the balance obviously either side of people either side, but we've got an up-down balance across here. Notice the crook of the neck here is balanced by the crook of the neck down here, and they're diametrically opposite with that within that composition. Again, framing can be done with light. It doesn't have to be an object. And here, by using a spotlight effect, all done in camera, we've got a framing going on here. And you can see I have used rule of thirds here, but I've used rule of thirds by just placing her on the bottom third of the image on there. And light framing here, this is again double framing. It's a set on a play I was photographing, and little tables in the middle, or table in the middle, is framed first of all by the light in there, and the light itself is framed by the darkness surrounding it. So double framing going on, and that can add a dimension to an image. Notice rule of thirds in there as well, that we've got this intersection point near a third, and our main subject on the table on the upper third there. Framing can be even more intangible. Here I've added smoke in post-production to act as a framing element on this this product shot for lynx. Well, it wasn't for lynx themselves, it was of a lynx shower gel, but it was just a demo shot that I was producing, and you can see how adding in the smoke acts as a framing element to it with the shot. Of course, it's the same smoke flipped over on either side and then flipped again, and with a filter on it to make it look as though it's reflected in the same way that the lynx was. The lynx shower gel was genuinely reflected, but I had to actually, in post-production, make it look as though the smoke was also reflected in there. Here's another example of framing, and this one's a little bit different. This is framed in the arms. And it works. Just the fact that the arms are like this is only works because it's a very tight shot. If it was a much wider shot and she'd got her arms like that, it wouldn't really have that framing effect to it. But it's only because it's in tight, and it gives us a framing actually on three sides. So we're framed down here, we're framed across the top, and then the bend of the elbow we're framed down here. So 3 out of 4 sides is framed by the arms. But there is another framing technique going on there, which I want to talk about. And that technique is vignettes. Vignettes, as you all know, are something I use regularly. And this is why it works, because it draws the eye into the middle. That's what framing's all about drawing the eye into the middle. And it's a subtle way of doing it without the viewer really knowing what's going on, without recognizing it. And so here you can see those darkened corners causes the eye to look more towards the middle. But vignetting, this was a vignetting, I don't think I did much in post-production on the vignette. Yes, I did things on the colour in post-production, but not on the vignette. That was fairly natural, and maybe emphasised it a little bit more, but this is a more natural looking vignette where it goes off into shadow at the edges, top, bottom and side. So that's framing. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and that bell icon so you can be notified of future videos. And why not join me on my Sunday night live streams every Sunday night at 7:30 here on this YouTube channel. So until then, thanks for watching, keep making great photos, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.